Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to a huge race here at Martinsville Speedway for all three series, the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, as well as the Cup Series. They're all elimination races to get into the Final Four for a chance to compete for a championship at Phoenix Raceway in the next episode. But first things, we come through here for the Truck Series at Martinsville here at the Paperclip. Of course, Erik Jones has been our driver this whole season, and he is also trying to lead our Xfinity team for Joe Gibbs Racing into the Final Four. Now, I'm going to have an announcement coming up soon about the Truck Series, but I can't say just yet what it is, but I think you guys will be a little bit excited now, as the green flag, though, is out here at the Martinsville Speedway, as Erik Jones, unfortunately, starting up on the outside, actually got taken 3 wide into turns 1 and 2, there by that KBM truck on the outside of him. Teammate as went down this back straightaway. He was 3 wide for a moment as he went down into turn 3, but he would settle in just behind Clay Greenfield there in turns 3 and out of turns 4. So Erik gets down to the bottom lane, and as soon as Erik got down to the bottom, he would be able to open things up, start to make some aggressive moves, going 3 wide up the inside, and now up the inside of the 4 of Rafael Lassard, and he came through out of turns 2, passing Angela Rutsch, and then he just continues to move his way forwards. He got up inside the top 10, and then he would get up the inside of the 13 of Johnny Sauter, and Erik would continue to move his way forwards. He's not in a situation where he has to win or anything to get into the Final Four. As long as he has a strong finish, he won't make it, and he was having a strong performance so far as he passes Zane Smith out of turns 4. There will be an announcement about Zane Smith coming up in the off-season video, as well as I can't confirm that now, as he would get up the inside of the 44, though, make a pass for 3rd place, and then he would try to run down the next handful of drivers. Sorry, it was a pass for 4th place as he came through now to the final lap, though, as he came through out of turns 2. He could not make up any more ground as he was trying to run down Brett Moffitt as he dives down into turns 3 for the final time here in Martinsville. Erik Jones is going to come through out of turns 4 for a top 5 day at Martinsville Speedway, and this will put him in the Final Four for Phoenix Raceway, as Grant Enfinger picks up the victory here in Martinsville. So very solid race for Erik, setting himself up well for what will be a tough race, though, at Phoenix Raceway, and hopefully at the end of that he will come out as a champion. Now, as you see the Final Four grid here for the Truck Series now on the screen, it was actually very brief, but Erik will be going against Grant Enfinger, Sheldon Creed, as well as Johnny Sauter for the Truck Series Championship. But we come through now to the Xfinity Series race at Martinsville, again with Erik Jones in the car. There you see Justin Allgaier was on the pole. Noah Gregson's at an unapproved body modification during qualifying. He's starting at the back. Well, Gregson and Allgaier, they didn't even make the playoffs here in the Xfinity Series, which was a huge surprise in the career mode now. Of course, when I was in the Xfinity Series, they were very strong contenders, and then they didn't even make it this season, just simply because of so many different winners here in the Xfinity Series. As we get underway here, though, in Martinsville, Erik looking for an opportunity to get down to that bottom as quickly as possible there, as he passed the 21 of Alfredo, but couldn't still get down as he was on the outside of Chastain for a moment. But out of turns 4, Alfredo gets clear, and now Erik has the opportunity to get down to the bottom right behind Alfredo as they dive down into turns 1 up the inside of the 44 of Tommy Joe Martins. And now to turns 2, Erik is going to now get on that charge like he did in the truck race and try to move his way forwards now as we are under the lights here in Martinsville. It would be really neat if the game put the Martinsville Cup Series race under the lights for the playoffs, but unfortunately it is in the daytime. I would like to see that change if possible now as we dive down into turn 3 behind Ross Chastain, up the inside of Hemrick goes Jones out of turns 4. So just like the Truck Series, he was just kind of clicking off all these positions as he dives down now into turns 1. So just trying to get up towards that top 5. In the same situation, though, as the Trucks. He doesn't really have to win to get himself into the Final Four. Just a strong finish will put Erik in position to potentially win a championship in the next episode at Phoenix Raceway. So he finally clears Hemrick out of turns 4, and it wasn't until the final lap to really where he got anywhere. He got up to now the 39 of Ryan Sieg as he came through out of turns 2, battling for the 3rd position as Allgaier, Cindric P1 and P2 into turns 3. Now, as there you see Jones clears Sieg through turns 3 and 4, and it's going to be a P3 finish out of turns 4. Allgaier wins in Martinsville. Cindric comes up just short in the 2nd position there, as Cindric has been a strong competitor this whole season here in the Xfinity Series, and we're about to see if he is in the Final Four there as you see the rest of the finishing order on your screen. Gregson all the way down in 22nd place. I do have maybe a potential silly season announcement coming up soon about Noah Gregson here in the career mode. Can't confirm just yet, but now we're going to see the Final Four there. Cindric, Annette, Briscoe, and Erik Jones will battle it out for an Xfinity Series Championship in the next episode at Phoenix Raceway now, as we come through to ourselves here at Martinsville in a position where we really do not want to be in, to say the least, as we come through into qualifying to start our lap. 20.039 is the goal here in qualifying, but we come in over 20 points below the cut line at Martinsville, so I came into this race with an approach of a must-win situation. So that's kind of what we got to be looking out, is just trying to win this race. Stage 1 and 2 doesn't even matter too much now as we come through to cross the line. 19.715 puts us P6 here and the Blue Emu 500 at Martinsville Speedway. So a very good effort coming into this one, and of course, like I said, we just really have to come into this race looking for a win. Not the position I want to be in, but I couldn't really choose much of a better track to come to in this situation other than Bristol Motor Speedway. That would be the #1 choice if I had to win, but Martinsville definitely the second best option here. As you see the playoff grid coming into this race now, the final chance for drivers to make it into the Final Four. Jimmie Johnson is advanced. Hamlin 35 to the good. Kyle Busch 32. Joey Logano 20 points above the cut line. Kevin Harvick just in front of us, 20 points below the cut line, and then there we are, 25 below that line. And then Keselowski 32 below. William Byron 68 below. So William Byron pretty much in a must-win situation as well for sure. Unlike us, there's still a slim chance we could get a chance to maybe even point our way in. Alright guys, I mean, we know what we got to do. We got to try and win this thing. Hopefully we can do it. Maybe the 22 will have issues and we'll get lucky and not have to worry, but we'll see. Alright, there you heard my radio transmission to the team now. As you saw, Clint Boyer, Cole Custer starting towards the back of the field now as we're ready to go green, though, in Martinsville for the Blue Emu 500. Our last chance to make it into the Final Four in our rookie season. It is now underway as Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney lead the field to the green flag here in Martinsville as we dive down into turns 1. Only one driver comes into this race safe, and that's the 48er, Jimmie Johnson, as he is locked into the Final Four in his final season in the career mode before Alex Bowman takes his place next season. In that 48 car, as we dive down through turns 3 and 4 up the inside. Now the 12 of Ryan Blaney. We just got to be on the push, trying to get as far up as we can, and just hope that the 22 of Joey Logano is not really able to make up any ground here as we come through turns 1 and 2. Logano did not have a good qualifying effort. He's not even inside the top 10 right now. So there is a slim chance if he can't make up all that ground in stage 1 and 2 and we get a bunch of points, we could still have a chance to point our way in now as we come through to turns 4, running in that 3rd position. But we kind of settled out here in P3 as we came through now to lap 5, and I was just still kind of chilling here in 3rd. Just couldn't quite reel these guys in front of me. Matt Kenseth at his final race here in Martinsville, having a great run, and I was actually, though, starting to close in a little bit as we came to the lap 10, so the confidence building a little bit. Hamlin, he was still driving away, but we were definitely closing that gap to the Chip Ganassi driver and veteran of Matt Kenseth as we came through now to lap 12, closing in already on lap traffic, but we already get caution #1 of the day, very quick here in Martinsville, a very early caution, and that's going to set up for a restart, of course, about at the halfway point of this first stage. Joey Logano only in 23rd position, so there's still a good chance for us. We're P3 as of right now. We actually, if this was just a one-stage race, we would only be a handful of points out right now, but of course 3 stages, potential for a lot of chaos to happen now as we get ready to go green here behind Denny Hamlin. Now as we're back underway on the initial start, we started on the bottom and we were able to gain a few positions, so hoping to do the same thing here as we dive down into turns 1. Jimmie Johnson now just on our back bumper as we come through turns 1 and now to turns 2 up the inside, side by side now with Matt Kenseth as we go down this back straightaway. He almost gets clear, but we do just send it in deep enough to stay up the inside of him as we come through turns 3 and out of turns 4. We are going to clear the 42 of Matt Kenseth now as we come through to cross the line. 15 laps to go already here in stage 1 as Jimmie Johnson moves through into the 3rd position as we come through, already losing a little bit of grip in the back end of the car, which was a bit of a concern, something that I was keeping in my mind for the pit stop here in the future as well. And we came through to lap 21 and Hamlin was just driving away, and I was doing a good job holding 2nd position. Jimmie Johnson really wasn't putting on any pressure, but Denny Hamlin, our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, driving away with the lead, and he's been, of course, the dominant driver this season. So many wins, and he's just kind of cruised his way through the playoffs, and he continues to come into Martinsville and dominate as we come through turns 3 and 4. Now less than 5 laps to go here in the first stage, and Hamlin had now run down lap traffic, but you can see the gap that he had built up between himself and I, and now he's already getting through the traffic pretty comfortably as I'm still trying to run them down here as we come through, approaching just 2 to go on the stage. Then we were coming through to now a lap and a half to go here in stage 1. Eric Almirola running P38. Terrible for Aric Almirola. I will be adjusting his driver rating likely for next season, as well as I will be making quite a few driver rating changes going into the next season of the career mode now as we come through out of turns 2 in the back of that 10 car of Aric Almirola with half a lap to go in the stage. Denny Hamlin has dominated early in this race. He doesn't need to win, of course, to get himself into the Final Four, but he's making it easy if he does. As he comes through to win stage 1 in the blue Emu 500, we come through to cross the line here in a solid second position here in Martinsville. William Byron even got a top 5, but that doesn't do him really any good, as he's going to have to win his way in for sure. And now we are going to come to the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, of course, very easy calls to make. Joey Logano did not have a good stage 1 finish. P19 for him, as we just gained 9 points on Logano. We come into this race 25 points below the cut line. So you can tell it's going to make a bit of a difference, as I'll show the live playoff leaderboard in just a few moments when we get going for the second stage. But you saw I did make one adjustment. That was to the right rear tire pressures. I put it down a bit because I was losing a lot of grip towards the end of the stage. So hoping that that doesn't happen, because if we have a really long run, that's definitely going to cost us now as we get ready to go green here for stage 2 as we are underway. So far we have not had the speed to compete with Denny Hamlin, but hoping that maybe those adjustments there on the right rear tire pressures are going to help us in the longer run. Maybe that will allow us to compete when the tires get more worn with Denny Hamlin here. As you see the live playoff leaderboard come up on your screen. So Hamlin, 41 points to the good. Kyle Busch, 29. Logano was 25 points ahead. Now he is only 16 points ahead. We have passed Kevin Harvick in the points, and we are now the first driver out, only 16 below the cut line. So if we can have another really good second stage, we can maybe go into stage 3 less than 10 points behind Joey Logano, and what we thought was a must-win scenario could turn into a position where we can still point our way into the Final Four now as we come through out of turns 4. So really the absolute perfect day for Joey Logano to have a bad race now as we dive down into turns 1. William Byron was actually running in the 4th position at this point, as he was actually kind of holding up Matt Kenseth and whatnot as we came through on lap 7 of the second stage, kind of sticking with Martin Truex Jr. It was a JGR 1, 2, 3, of course, at this point now as we come through to 21 laps to go, diving down into turns 1, getting up on that curb a little bit, but 4th place Byron was really holding up some drivers, and that was allowing us to get a very comfortable gap as he was under a lot of pressure from Matt Kenseth at this point as we come through turn 3. Now there's problems behind. Cole Custer goes spinning and nearly goes up and over there as the 17 car got under him. Caution comes out here in Martinsville, and nobody coming to the pit lane. A very easy call for us to make. Stay out, but so far a couple cautions here, a couple crashes in Martinsville, setting up for some restarts now as we get ready to go green from the 3rd position here in stage 2. Hamlin, Truex, P1, P2 now as we are ready to get going right behind the 11 of Hamlin, close to the halfway point again here in stage 2 as we dive down into the corner. Byron on our outside, but we know he's probably going to fade back now as he's on that outside lane as we're up the inside of Martin Truex Jr. side by side with our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate and champion from 2017 as we dive down into turns 3 up the inside of Truex as we exit turns 4, trying to get past him, and sure enough at the line we do clear Truex into turns 1. He fights back though on the outside as we dive down into the corner, so he's not going to give up without a fight, but we do clear him on the exit of the corner and now try to once again run down the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Matt Kenseth would actually end up moving into the 3rd position there as he actually put a little bit of pressure onto the back of me now, as it was seeming like I don't even have a car good enough to run in second at some points in this race as we came through to lap 20. Now 11 laps to go as we dive down into turns 1. Kenseth still sticking with me, then a caution comes out again, and this time it looks like it's for the 21 of Matt DiBenedetto, who was earlier this season in the playoffs, and then he had such a downfall with mechanical issues that he ended up missing the playoffs, and it has continued throughout the rest of this postseason now as we're going to get ready though to go green again here in Martinsville. So far a good chunk of caution, so we really haven't had to deal with lap traffic too much now as the green flag is back out. Less than 10 laps remain here in the second stage as we dive down into turns 1 on the outside of the 11 of Hamlin. The car pushes up a little bit there on the exit of the corner, allowing the door for Matt Kenseth to be opened here as we go down this backstretch into turns 3, and I was thinking about chopping his nose, but I gave him the room here now as we come through the center of the corner. So Kenseth up the inside as we come through out of turns 4. I nearly knocked the wall down now as we try to get down in front of Ryan Blaney as we dive down into turns 1, but Blaney sends it into the corner, drives into my left rear, pushes us up the track as we come through out of turns 2. So now we give a spot up to Blaney, and then Stenhouse goes by as well. Now we're stuck on the outside. We got Truex up the inside, Kyle Busch right behind him there as Blaney just sent it right into my left rear quarter panel, and we would end up falling all the way to P7 behind Kyle Busch with 5 laps to go in the stage. So instead of P2, we've given up 5 points, and we come through now approaching the final lap of the second stage, and I was still stuck behind the 18 of Kyle Busch. Now as we dive down into turns 1, and he gets sideways there from a little bit of contact I gave him, and now as we come through out of turns 2, right on the back bumper sideways there, as you can see, the adjustments still haven't helped a whole lot on the longer run. As we go down into turns 3, sending it up the inside of Kyle for the final time here in stage 2 in the blue Emu 500 at Martinsville Speedway, side by side as we exit turns 4 sideways though, and that gave him the advantage now as we cross the line. P7 in stage 2, which is still better than Joey Logano, so it's not the end of the world. Blaney really messed us up. He put us in a position we do not want to be in going into this third and final stage. Now as we're going to once again, of course, come to the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, but the real question is, where is Joey Logano? And you're going to see, not in the top 15, he is not even in the top 20, he's P21 going into the final stage. So we have once again gained another additional 4 points on Joey Logano when we came into this stage, 16 points below the cut line. So now we're going to be 12 points below the cut line there. As you see me make a wedge adjustment, I actually make the car a little bit tighter, then I do some more tire pressure adjustments, just because the car just did not have a whole lot of grip on that long run, and we're really trying to change that if we want a fighting chance here to maybe win. And Martinsville is Matt DiBenedetto staying out on the track as we are underway for the third and final stage. So DiBenedetto takes the lead from Hamlin as we dive down into turns 1 behind Kyle Busch. Newman sends it up the inside 3 wide, and now we're stuck in the middle. He just full sent now. Newman, of course, had to be the one to do it as we go down this back stretch. So now we are trapped on the top. I was not happy. You see it right there. I get into the side of him as we go into turns 3. Out of all people, dude, it had to be Ryan. Why? I don't even know what the heck he's thinking. There you hear just a little bit of displeasure from me as we dive down into turns 1 now into the back of the 6 of Newman. Again, I was just trying to turn him right there. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but instead, I put myself in a worse situation. We drop now down to P10 on the outside of Kurt Busch there. As you see, though, the playoff leaderboard coming into this third and final stage, and we are now 12 points out, so we do have a chance to point our way in, but being stuck on the outside made me fall all the way down to P13, and you look who was behind me, Joey Logano. So we are now 11 points below the cut line, so every position matters for sure at this point as we dive down into turn 3 up the inside of Logano's teammate, and the caution comes out again, and this time no one coming to the pit lane. DiBenedetto still leads. Hamlin's dropped down to P4, but we're going to be stuck on the outside again with Logano in P13. All of a sudden, Newman forcing us 3 wide has put us in a really just not a good scenario now as we get ready to go green again. So now the pressure is on. 1 position separates myself and the 2018 Cup Series champion for Penske of Joey Logano. Now as the green flag is back out as we get ready to go green on lap 79 here. Less than 50 laps to go as we dive down into turns 1, and now Logano sends it into the left side of us. He forced it 3 wide into the middle. Now we're 4 wide on the exit of turn 2. Logano and myself completely destroyed there as we come through 14th down to 15th into turn 3. Now that's the second time in 2 restarts that someone's taken us 3 wide. There is no way he's getting away with that if he gets back to me. I'm cleaning him out. There you heard the radio transmission from myself. Clearly not very happy with Joey Logano. I don't know what he was doing. He just sent it into the 3 wide middle. I just don't know why he did that, and he, of course, drove into the side of me in the process. But we got to keep our head focused and just keep on moving forwards. We passed Stenhouse. We passed the 95 of Christopher Bell. We get up the inside of Ryan Newman. I was still unhappy with Ryan Newman, so I actually door slam him down the front straightaway just to let him know, hey, I'm still not very happy with you as we dive down into turns 1. We should be up in like P2, but Ryan Blaney just set off everything, and nothing has gone right since that moment now as we came through on lap 86 behind the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, up the inside now of Matt Kenseth, and I just did not have quite the car that I really wanted. I honestly think the adjustments we made at the end of stage 2 was the complete wrong way to go, because the car just did not feel as good as it did before. I couldn't quite make those aggressive moves and feel as confident as I did before. There was a few cars, though, between myself and Logano. We were less than 10 points below the cut line. I think it was about 9 points as we came through to lap 93. We go trying to get up the inside there of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, but I was struggling so hard with the car at this point that I couldn't make the moves. You see the back end kicking out there, and we come through now to the outside of Jimmy Johnson with 32 laps to go, doing whatever I can to try and pass the 7-time champion who's already locked into the final 4 as we come through out of turn 2. Johnson, 4 wins on the season, a magnificent end to his career, no matter what if he wins the championship or not. In the next one at Phoenix now is the 42 of Kenseth. He's trying to get up my inside as we exit turns 4, and I do not have a good exit there, and that opens the door for Kenseth. Things just continuing to get worse here with 31 laps to go now as I'm realizing if we can't do anything, we're not going to make the final 4 as Logano was staying within range, and he has 0 pressure from behind, so there's no reason Logano is going to drop any positions at this point unless he has some type of issue, or if he gets, or if he crashes now as we come through out of turns 4, trying to put the pressure on Kenseth. Thankfully, we would all run down Kevin Harvick. As you can see, I'm really fighting the handling in the car at this point with 29 laps to go, and I dive up the inside through turns 1, and we're at least going to work our way back into the top 10. So now, like I said, it was still about 9 or so points between myself and Logano. Then we were starting to get into lap traffic, and that helped us run down Ryan Blaney, who started falling down a bit. So I get to the outside of him here with now 23 laps to go, realizing we're not going to make it at this rate now as we come through turns 1 and 2. The lap traffic is our only chance to maybe get ourselves into the final 4 as we're side by side with Matt Kenseth into turns 3 on lap 103. The caution comes out because we got a car crashing in front of us. The 38 of John Hunter Nemechek is around. The caution, like I said, is out. That will force everybody to the pit lane. And just wait, the way the car was, I said we just don't have the car right now. So I decided we got to do something different at least. So I decide we are going to just take half a can of fuel and no tires and see where that will put us, because P9 is not going to cut it right here if we want to make it into the final 4. But just before this restart, there you see in the next episode, Phoenix Raceway, that will decide the championship between the final 4, which is currently only Jimmy Johnson guaranteed by Hamlin, is looking very strong. But on the pit stops, we would come through into P1 on the exit of the pit lane simply because I took no tires. So this is really going to spice things up. We have terrible tires, but like I said, we just don't have the car right now that we need. So I had to do something here as we were underway. Not a good launch compared to Kyle Busch as we dive down into turns 1, and immediately the car just did not turn well. Hamlin forces it 3 wide as we exit turns 2. Now on the exit of the corner, we're nearly spinning down the back straightaway, and that opens the door for Keselowski and Kyle Busch to the outside as we dive down into turn 3. Already everything going to a disaster as we exit turns 4. We somehow clear these guys. Actually, it's a 3 wide nearly between Johnson, Keselowski, and Kyle Busch as we dive down into turns 1. But Keselowski, though, is able to get up the inside of us as the car's just not turning as we come through on the entrance of the corner, but on the exit is so loose, so the car all over the place, and I leave the door, of course, open for Keselowski when I couldn't. There you see again, the car just does not want to turn, and unfortunately, I get stuck on the outside again. But I mean, I didn't have a car to run up here in the first place with the way it was, so I was not surprised by this. But we were falling down the order, now down to P7 on the outside of Ryan Blaney. Then the 95 of Christopher Bell gets to my inside, and he would lead this train as well through as Chase Elliott. He would get to my inside and pass me. The 21 of DiBenedetto comes through to the inside. The 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets to my inside, and now I'm realizing 13 laps to go, we are once again on the outside looking in because of just this maybe a mistake. I don't know if I would call it a mistake on the pit lane because we kind of expected that and we did it on purpose, now trying to get something out of it. Now so I'm going to get physical with the 47 of Stenhouse, trying to move him out of the way, and instead that messes me up even more. It leaves the door open for Kurt Busch to get up the inside as things continue to get worse here with 12 laps to go, knowing that we need every point possible because Logano is still within range to be in. It is now still, it's probably about 7 or so points, 6 or 7 points between myself and Logano. Now as I get right to the back of the one car of Kurt Busch on lap 115, I said just get out of the way at this point now as we go down towards turns 1. 10 laps to go here in Martinsville, and now we're going to fight back up the inside of the Chip Ganassi driver, and we're going to get back up inside of P11 actually, not the top 10 yet, but hopefully we can run down Ricky Stenhouse Jr. here as we dive down into turn 3, clearing the one finally, and then sure enough I run down the 47, I send it up the inside, get into his left rear a little bit. I did not care at this point about any contact, and we'll exit turns 4 side by side with Stenhouse, and this should move us into the top 10 as we go into turns 1. But Logano still in my rear view mirror, but we're gaining points and he's not gaining any, so it was now about a 5 or 6 point gap at this point with 5 laps to go. And that was actually, I can confirm, with 5 laps to go, when we were P10 it was 5 points below the cut line, but running out of time, not enough cars in front of us. Well, there is enough cars in front of us, but not enough within range here as we come through to 3 to go, all hoping now at this point Logano is going to lose positions. As you can see, the handling of the car so bad there as we come through with 3 laps to go, and that completely gave my chance away to get to the back of the 12 of Ryan Blaney. So we come through to start the final lap here in Martinsville Speedway, realizing now it wasn't enough here in Martinsville. We gave it everything we had. We came into this race 25 points below the cut line, as you see me just hanging on for dear life. Kenseth had run me down as the car was so bad at this point as we come through turns 3 and 4 for the final time out of turns 4 in the blue Emu 500. Once again, just trying to hang on to the cars. We come through to cross the line, P10 in Martinsville Speedway, but realization of course sets in that we are not going to make it into the final 4 here in our rookie season as Denny Hamlin wins. So he is in along with Jimmy Johnson. Kyle Busch should join him as well as Joey Logano in the final 4 there. Very disappointing way to go out. But at the same time, we gave it our all, and just things went wrong really for us. If we didn't get hit by the 12 of Blaney in stage 2, we would have gotten probably, we gave up 5 points in stage 2 when Blaney had that contact with us, and we got eliminated by 5 points. So there you see it right there. So now it's like, wow, if we wouldn't have gotten hit by Blaney, it would have at least been a tie between myself and Logano, but I think Logano would have actually still won the tiebreaker. But now we're going to do a post-race interview here with Jay Cook.
You gave it your all, Gary, but you've now been eliminated from the playoffs. Walk us through the fight that got you here.
I mean, yeah, subpar season overall. I mean, we got 2 wins, I think, this season. So far, we still have one more chance to go win at Phoenix, but just a little bit disappointing. Just we had contact with Blaney there in stage 2, and that really set us back because it put us down to 7th. And then in the 3rd stage, they just went crazy and just started making 3-wide moves and just put us in an even worse spot. So we had a good car, but just everything kind of went to crap towards the end. It sucks, but we gave it our all. Still only missed it by 5 points, so I'm happy. But yeah, we'll see what we can do to round out the season in Phoenix. Alright, so there was the post-race interview with myself and Jay Cook. Now, and as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. I know you didn't enjoy the result. Neither did I. We missed it by 5 points, but there you see the final 4 for all 3 series here for Trucks and Xfinity and Cup. So Jones and Finger Sauter and Sheldon Creed here, the final 4 for the Truck Series. And on the Xfinity side, Eric Jones is once again in it with Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, and Michael Annett. And on the Cup Series side, of course, it is Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch. Johnson could go out an 8-time champion, which would be really cool. We'll see what happens in the next episode. So yeah, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.